What's up, Dominators? Welcome back to the ShiHai's channel. Today I present to you, for the second time, my personalized Kagero Dragonic Overlord the X deck recipe. So I've previously actually recorded this. It was like a 15-minute long video, and then after I recorded it, I actually wanted to upload it. But I went to play the video and it didn't have sound, so I'm re-recording this twice again. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyways, we got the deck. Thank you much, Wilson, for letting me. This deck is none other than Wilson's, of course, because I don't have the money. Wilson has the money. I'm poor, but like, yeah. Following up the new format, the old format, since I haven't uploaded a deck recipe in a while. We got the layout, and then we're going to go through the cards, the skills, why we run them, and last but not least, maybe a little bit of combos here and there along the way. So yes, this is the tier 1 deck that you have been, that everybody has been talking about, not you have been. So yeah, we're gonna go run through, and what better way to start off with the new VR, which is Dragonic Overlord, the Cross. So the X, the Cross, whatever you want to call it, it's basically the carry of the set and why Kagero is currently at tier 1. So X skill, Soul plus 1, you pick up the deck and you search for one Dragonic Overlord and shove it to your soul. And this unit gains all of the Dragonic Overlord's abilities and names until the end of the turn. So ideally, what you want to do is shove Dragonic Overlord the end into your soul, and then you gain all of the end abilities, and you can withstand the Vanguard tries and swim your opponent with a Force 2. Second skill is continuous. Your hand is always gonna be 0. So what does this mean? It means that it ties in very well with Dragonic Overlord. The end skill where your hand size is 4 or less, you can't pass over stand this unit. And of course, we got Thoric Cannon Dragon, which is great to right here, we're gonna get into, in which it lets you draw a card. And last but not least, the last skill is if your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, this unit drives cannot go to 0. So it's always at 1 drive, and once you restand it by Dragonic Overlord, the ends effect. So it's 1 drive by 2 drive by 1 drive by 1 drive. So it's a really strong card. That's one of the reasons why it's really expensive. And this whole deck itself, it costs about like $500 to build, not gonna lie. It really is like $500 to $600, which is insane for that price amount. But it is a Kagero clan, a fan favorite clan like Shadow Paladin, so it's obviously gonna be expensive. So 4 off of the VR is a must. Moving on to the old VR in the other set, which costs $50 a piece for some reason, because it's necessary in this deck. It's Dragonic Overlord ZN. Ideally, we will never ever want to write into this card ever. Just saying, never ever want to write into this card. You always want to write JX or the Cross, whatever. Basically, the skill we're going to copy from DN, it's the skill is whenever at the end of battle that this unit attacks, you may resolve one of the following abilities, and then it can be used for the end of until the rest of the turn, which is Count plus 1, Soul plus 1. If you have 4 or less hand size, you stand this unit and gain drive -1. So that's one of the reasons why it ties really well with the X, because the X says that your hand size is consistently 0. Or constantly 0, not consistently 0, yeah. So you're able to stand by the effect. And then the second skill is if you do have a Dragonic Overlord in your soul, or it's a grade 3 in soul, either one, you discard 3 cards and you stand this unit against 10k and drive -1 at the end of turn. So ideally what you want to do is you attack with Dragonic Overlord the X after using the skill to shove Dragonic Overlord the end into your soul. Then after that, you activate the second skill, in which you have a good chain soul, which you do because you just shoved it into your soul. You discard 3 cards, you stand, drive -1, and then after that, you use you attack again, and then you use the last skill of Dragonic Overlord the end, which is to counter Soul plus 1, stand this unit, and drive -1 again. And if your opponent is on grade 3, your drive will always be at 1, it will never be 0, because of Dragonic Overlord, the X skill, which states that if your opponent is a grade 3 or greater, your drive will never ever be 0. So you at least gains 2 drive by 1 drive by 1 drive. But of course, if you're going in first, your drive will be 0. But you have a higher chance of ending your opponent off then and there, rather than continuing on into the game. So that's why this deck is pretty much tier 1. Secondly, let's just run through the grade 2. So we have 8 grade 3s, and that's all you're ever gonna need. For grade 2 counts, you can see we run 13 grade 2s. I think it's fine. We have like a few tech slots here and there, because you don't have to run 4 decades, in which you will get to later. Wilson runs 1 Berserk Dragon. I think it's fine, it's a real tech slot. Berserk Dragon, because it looks very nice. It's a foil VMC promo Berserk Dragon. Skill on place Vanguard Rearguard, combat Soul Blast through one opponent Rearguards, retire it, and this unit is on Vanguard Circle, you draw a card. So yeah. Sure, it's free. And then second skill is when it attacks, if you have more rear guards than your opponent, this unit gains plus 3k, only a rear guard skill. So one off is, I think it's fine. It gets outclassed by the new turret cannon right here, but I think running one off as attack it's fine, especially if you have a very high rarity VMC card like that. It looks really nice in your deck, so why not? Moving on to one of the more OP cards in this set as well, it's called Igni Road Dragon. On place rearguard / vanguard circle, you check top 7 of your deck, you add a Dragonic Overlord, the cross or the X to your hand for free. It's absolutely no cost. The cost is just to place this card down onto your rearguard or your vanguard circle. You get the top 7 free searcher for Dragonic Overlord. The X, take note, is only you only can search for this card, you can search for the end because it states specifically the X only. And the second skill, which is rearguard skill, is insane as well. Whenever your Dragonic Overlord attacks, or grade 3 Dragonic Overlord attacks, if I'm not wrong, or grade 3 Vanguard, either one, this unit gets plus 5k. So what does this mean? If you're on your Dragonic Overlord, the X, and it's going to attack it 3 times, this unit gets plus 15k, so it's a 25k attacker already. It's free for no reason. So it gains power, helps you filter, yeah, and you don't have to discard any card for it just to search out Dragonic Overlord, the X, and thin your deck. It's really insane, so 4 off is necessary. Moving on to the last one, the last grade 2s we have, not one of the last, actually, the second last grade 2 we have. Turret Cannon, I think, is what replaces Berserk Dragon in this set. Skill, X once per turn, Vanguard Rearguard, take note, it's Vanguard Rearguard, that's why it's pretty strong. Counter +1, return a normal unit from your drop zone back to the bottom of your deck. And then you choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or lower rear guards retire, and you have 4 or less hand size, you draw a card. So Dragonic Overlord, the X skill states that if your hand's always 0, not if, sorry, but yeah, your hand's always constantly 0. So even you using the skill of Turret Cannon, you're able to draw a card. But even if your grade 2 turn, you can just flood your field with cards. You have 4 or less hand size, and you have a normal unit in your drop zone, you just pay the cost of count +1, return normal unit to one opponent grade 2 or less rear guards, retire them, and then you can draw a card for free. So yeah, it's a really good card. I think it replaces the Berserk Dragon right here. Yeah, Berserk Dragon, yeah. Because you know, it doesn't take soul, it just takes the counter blast, which is really good. Last but not least, we got Decad. Pretty much a tech slot where you run like either Decads or you run other grade 2s or grade 1s. But personally, I think Decad is fine, but not at a 4. Wilson runs 4, I think it's questionable, but I think it is there for consistency. While I would say that I would prefer to run what's called Calamity Tower Wyvern. So it's a Soul +1 retire itself, choose one of your Vanguards, gain 15k at the end of turn. So it's really strong. But problem is it costs soul, but you do have soul charges in the sense where you get Dragonic Overlord at the end, your soul, so you can soul blast it, and this card Decades shoves itself to soul as well. So skill, rearguard skill, count +1, shove this into your soul, choose one of your Dragonic Overlord Vanguards if I'm not wrong. It must be Dragonic Overlord or Great Show Greater, I didn't really read the card properly. Should be Dragonic Overlord, the Vanguard. And then whenever your opponent will guard for the attack that your Dragonic Overlord Vanguard attacked, you have to card with 2 or more cards. So it's basically a Musashi, or you say a Canon for your Vanguard, where your Vanguard is swinging 3 times, your opponent will have to drop at least 6 cards. You have to drop 6 cards from your hand, at least 6 cards actually, in order to guard all of the attacks. But other than that, yes, it just makes it more annoying for your opponent to guard because they can't throw like 20k for 2 pass right now, because you take a note, you are forcing to 13k plus 8k because this booster always withstands. We'll get to the skill later. So it's 21k by 31k by 31k because you're going to use Dragonic Overlord the end skill, second skill first to gain 10k, so you can attack with higher power. So it's 21 by 31 by 31. They can't throw like a 20k for 2 pass if they are on like grade 3 Vanguard, be which whether they are on 12k or 13k base. So Decad helps their hand size to fall at the same time applying a lot of pressure. But I think you can replace a little bit, you can run like maybe one less Decad or 2 less Decad for Calamity Tower Wyvern. So it's really like up to you, or you can run other cards, depends on your choice. So yeah, 13 grade 2s we have right there, and last but not least we got 12 grade 1s, which is pretty much the standard. We got Lava Flow Dragon, which is the generic top 5 grade 3 searcher, and if you add it, you discard a card. And then second skill is you have more regards than your opponent, you gain 5k. That's actually the first skill, but whatever. So yeah, 13k attacker / booster. Heat Shot Dragon, which is really strong. The skill of Vanguard on place, you discard a card from hand, you draw a card. Ties in really well with Turret Cannon, because on your grade 1 turn, you're able to write this, and then on your grade 2 turn, you should have 1 counterblast if your opponent decides not to damage you. Now you can discard a normal unit for the cost of the what's called Heat Shot Dragon, yes. And then once you're riding up to grade 2, you can immediately use Story Cannon skill because you have a normal unit in your drop zone already. Or you can just use Lava Flow Dragon to actually top 5 at a grade 3, ideally the end or the cross, and then after that use Storage Cannon skill to return the grade 3 back to the bottom of the deck and you draw a card. So it ties in really well with this grade 1 and grade 2 skill. Second skill is what we actually run for and why it's really strong, which is the Rearguard skill. Whenever your grade 3 Dragonic Overlord restands, this card stands as well. If you're boosting the Vanguard. Take note, it's only for the Vanguard, it's not for Rearguard as well. So yeah. Ideally, you want to like put this behind your Vanguard during your grade 2 or grade 3 turn, and then once you reach the Dragonic Overlord, the X skill, you are boosting constantly, and when your Vanguard stands, this Rearguard also stands, so it's really strong. That's why I said in the previous, a minute ago or 2 minutes ago, it ties in really well. So it's 8 plus 13, 21, 21 by 31 by 31, which is really strong. Last one, knowledge, we got Ermo, a really old BT08 card. Of course, we run Ermo because number 1, it counter charges. Number 2, it's a 11k booster. Number 3, it nets you the card back. So, of course, the first skill, I don't have to say, I think it's pretty obvious, 11k booster. And then second skill is whenever your opponent is retired during your turn, you retire this unit, counter charge 1, draw 1. So it nets itself to back the cost and it counter charges 1 for you. So let's just say you're on Dragonic Overlord X, you shut Dragonic Overlord the end of your soul, but then you realize, I don't have 1 counterblast to use Dragonic Overlord the ends counterblast soul blast skill to stand your Vanguard. Not to worry, Ermo is here. If you have a opponent Rearguard that's begging to be retired by whatever card effect, or just by hitting it, it's considered retiring the Rearguard. You can just swing, use one of your Rearguards to swing, and your opponent is dumb enough, they just no guard. Proc Ermo skill to retire itself, counter charge 1, draw 1, and then you have the counterblast immediately for you to use Dragonic Overlord the end skill. So it's pretty much big brain right there, but that's just me being just me being naive, because if your opponent is well thought out and a good player, you obviously don't want to do that. So yeah. As for triggers wise, you can see that it's an even distribution of crits, 8 crits, 4 draws and 4 heals. You can run 16 crits. That time when I was recording the deck fights with Daryl, with MLB and Outmaul, Daryl did run 16 crits in the deck, because once you check a crit on your first grade 3 turn, especially if your opponent is still at grade 2 and you're on Dragonic Overlord X, it's pretty much over, most likely, because you are swinging 3 crits, your Vanguard swinging with 3 crits at least a base of 30k and above power for 3 times. It's probably, your opponent is probably going to explode. Unless he has like 3 PGs or he checks a heal trigger. But you have to check a lot of heal triggers and a lot of triggers in order to block this attack. Because 3 crits with a 30k power swinging of 9k base, that's like 25k for 1. It's really insane, and 25k is at least 2 cards from your hand. And with sufficient hand building, insufficient hand building during a grade 1 grade 2 turn, which is where most decks suffer. It's really hard to guard the attack. That's one of the reasons why this deck is tier 1. So yes, 16 crit is a viable option, but I guess Wilson runs the more consistent obviously build, which is the 4 Sentinel crit draws. So you can swap out the Sentinel draws for Sentinel crits instead, which comes in the set as well. It's a 30k shield, but instead of a draw, it's being a crit. So you apply more pressure by running the 12 crits, and then for heals. Heals is there for consistency, but if you are playing very high risk, high roll reward, just swap out the heals for 16 crits and you'll be done with the deck. And yeah, that's basically it. So I heard from Daryl, and I'm pretty sure Wilson felt this as well when playing the deck. It's really boring and really repetitive, because ideally what you want to do is just ride up to grade 3 and check trigger, which is the crit trigger you want to check, and then you end up with it off then. So it's not really that interactive nor friendly to like new players especially. So you might get pissed off playing against this deck, because if your opponent's a luck sucking piece of shit, so you just immediately lose up to this deck. So there are other decks that way more fun and way more interactive other than this deck, but for purposes of being meta and in terms of the tier list, this deck is definitely at the top of the tier. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys liked it. I'll be posting more deck recipes really soon. Hopefully MLB is coming out soon. I'll be planning to post MLB soon. if Darren wants to lend me his deck for a high rarity MLB, you know, I'll just settle for Wilson's low rarity MLB. And then after that, I'll be posting Messiah, thankfully, or not thankfully, but glad. You know, I don't know what's the word, but basically Wilson's gonna do Messiah. He wants to do Messiah, the Alter Ego Messiah deck recipe, so I'll allow him to do it. So hopefully you subscribers like to see Wilson in action other than me, you know, just being very boring and talking about deck recipes and that. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you guys liked it, it's been a while since I've been it's been a while since I've done a deck recipe, so I'm still pretty, you know, overwhelmed, and hopefully I can do more content in the future like this. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, Dominators. Hope you have a nice day. This is V-Shai, and I'm out. Peace.